Acquired immunity. These are the types of immunity. Immune system can be divided into two types, innate and adaptive. You don't create any immunological memory to pathogens since your innate immune system is non-specific. You can create immunological memory to certain pathogens since the adaptive immune system is specific. So, how do we create or acquire this immunological memory? There are 4 different options. First, you can divide these 4 different ways into 2 types, active and passive. So, this is us. If we look at the active processes for developing immunological memory, that means you yourself create the immunological memory. That means you make the antibodies against the pathogen. So, let's have a look at 2 different ways that you can make antibodies against pathogens. One is naturally acquired and the other is artificially acquired. That means for the adaptive immune system, it can happen actively where you create the antibodies. Naturally means you are getting something from the environment that you and they're creating an immune response to. So usually this is some sort of infection, so your body mounts an immune response creating antibodies with immunological memory against the specific infection. When we look at the artificial, this is where we actually get exposed to that pathogen from artificial means, and so the most common type here is the vaccination. When when something's passive, it means you're not doing anything about it. In active, you are creating the antibodies. In passive, you're not creating the antibodies. You're simply receiving already made antibodies. So how does this happen? Well, again, you can break it up into natural and artificial. Natural simply means it's coming from environmental sources. In naturally acquired passive immunity, this is where we get antibodies that are performed within breast milk. This helps to protect us in times in which it can mount its own immunological defense. Immunological defense, artificially acquired passive immunity, is where these antibodies are already produced in another person or in another animal, and you receive them either via blood plasma or via blood serum. And this can happen for a number of different diseases. For example, it can happen if somebody is suspected contact of a rabies. So this post-prophylactic injection of antibodies that are already performed to fight off the infection. Now, often you get this one, there's not enough time for yourself to create antibodies against the infection, so they just give you the antibodies. Tama ba yun? Mas banda na ako ito. Sama ko nagsugod. Okay. For example, it can happen if somebody is suspected contact of rabies. So, this post-prophylactic injection of antibodies that are already performed to fight off the infection. Now, often, you get this one, there's not enough time. Sabot ani. Sabot. Okay. So, this Sa ko nagsugod ato. Types of immunity ba to? Ang sugod.